All right, everybody.
One thing I'll say is my name is spelled with a Y. You've got it both ways. Uh,
Oh, God damn. That's weird.
so
We'll fix
just,
that in post.
yeah, no worries. No worries. Just calling it
So,
out.
all right, let me tell you about this comic book. It's our first episode, and I've already screwed up the name spelling. Uh, how you liking that AI caricature of you?
You got the head right. I think my body's a little larger than a
Well,
stick.
I didn't do it. That's AI. And look
Uh,
at me, the little French boy, forlorn.
yeah, why are you so sad?
I don't know. That's how I'm a very sad person.
You look
Uh,
you look like Mr. Miracle in this comic book.
yeah, that's what we do on this show, this podcast is we're going to talk about comic books, and let's give a big thanks to the Riverboat Gamblers for letting us use Ice Water, which is a song of theirs that I think is very apropos for this episode because lyric in the song "Slit my wrist in ice water." And I think that fits in with the comic book that we're going to talk about in today's
I,
episode, correct?
I tend to agree. Yeah, this comic starts off with a bang, so to speak.
How so? For what's the name of the comic first?
Mr. Miracle.
Okay.
This is the fourth volume of Mr. Miracle that was ever written. The character originally came out in the early 70s. It was a creation of Jack Kirby after he left Marvel and went to DC for a while. And he was creating this whole world that was it's part of the DC universe now. At the time, it was a little bit separate. It was called the New Gods, and so there were. Yeah, sorry, I'm nerding out already. I'll
No.
stop.
Well, you're the expert. In case we haven't said with the title graphic, you're the expert. I'm just a rookie for
Fair.
this little show we called. Let me tell you about this comic book. So you're going to tell me all about it. I read it. I'm a little confused about some things. I kind of follow in a more of a linear, is that correct?
Yeah,
Format of
yeah.
so this sort of kind of bounces around a little bit, but why don't you tell me a little bit about this comic as far as who Mr. Miracle is?
Will do. And as most comic book things can be, it can get somewhat confusing. So
For
uh,
someone like me, yes.
there there was this guy a long time ago named Thaddeus Brown, and he was an escape artist called Mr. Miracle. Obviously, this comic book is not about Thaddeus Brown. Thaddeus Brown is long dead. He was killed by a gang, street violence,
Are
things
we
like
are
that.
we talking about a real person or a comic book person?
We're talking about a comic book person.
Okay, sorry, I got confused for a second.
However, in the world we live in,
Right.
we could be talking about a real person. However, so um, Scott Free, the person that this comic book is based on, after Thaddeus Brown was killed, Scott Free inherited the Mr. Miracle moniker and costume, and he also inherited his Thaddeus Brown's assistant, Oberon. And Oberon, as you read in the comic, he's like this little small guy with crazy white hair smoking cigars. Um, he's in there for just a little bit.
He is.
Yeah.
Or is he?
Or is he? Yeah. So
Confusion for me.
this, um, he, Scott Free, let's get into Scott Free now that we've identified who the original Mr. Miracle was and where Oberon came from.
Okay.
Scott Free is from this New Gods series that Jack Kirby started in the early 1970s. And this was Jack Kirby at his like wild trippiest. He like I don't think Jack Kirby took acid, but go back and look at some of the work he did, and you'll wonder. Either way, Scott Free is the son of Highfather, who's like the god of a planet in the fourth world.
But he
That
goes by
is
another name. Is that right?
Highfather?
Is he Orion too?
No, no,
No.
no, 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 no. Um, Hold that
Okay,
thought.
so wait. Okay, but Highfather is
He's like
God?
he's for all intents and purposes, yeah. Like think of it like Zeus, like a Greek god.
Okay.
And he oversees a planet that is, oh my God, I'm like totally
Genesis?
losing. Yeah, New Genesis. Thank you.
Oh, look. Hey, who's the
Yeah,
expert
who's
now?
the expert now? Exactly. Um, Now there is like an opposite world of New Genesis. New Genesis is like a paradise. So there's this other world that is called Acropolis, and it's like hell, and it is overseen and ruled by an asshole, if I can say that,
I think you
uh,
can.
named Darkseid.
Gotcha.
And throughout the comic, you continually see like just solid black panels that say Darkseid is.
It's like a teaser.
Well, yeah, or maybe it's just telling you that evil is all around you and it truly exists.
Oh, I didn't get that, but I did get it as a teaser. But now that you
It,
say that, okay,
yeah.
I'll take that for what it is.
So Scott Free, Highfather's son, um, as part of like a peace treaty, when Scott Free was a child, Highfather gave him to Darkseid. It was like, okay, to stop this war and to keep the peace, you can have my son. Not
Did not
very
know
cool.
that. That
Not
wasn't in
very
this
cool.
comic.
No, it's not. But this is like the backstory.
Okay.
So Scott Free had to leave New Genesis, and he had to grow up on Acropolis. When he was there, he got put in like this really crappy orphanage. And the person who ran the orphanage,
Is there any other kind?
well, I don't know. Uh, but the person who ran this orphanage, her name is Granny Goodness.
Oh,
Yeah. And so, like, she's pretty physically rough on the kids and is basically teaching them to be like soldiers and fight and kill and things like that. And so Scott grew up there. She had a whole class of females that grew into a group called the Female Furies. One of them, the largest and most powerful, her name was Barda. She was very large, tall, and muscular, so they called her Big Barda.
does
So
she have
in this,
a height, weight on her
she
trading
pretty,
card?
I, you know what? I don't have any Big Barda trading cards, but
Well,
I'd say she's well over 6 feet,
okay.
and I wouldn't want to arm wrestle her.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's pretty tough.
Yeah.
And so Scott and Barda fall in love. Um, they run away and they come to Earth. That's when Scott becomes Mr. Miracle. And so he's living on Earth and he's like a celebrity. He is like Houdini and David Copperfield and who's that other guy who does magic? David Blaine, uh,
Doug Henning.
Doug Henning. He's all of these guys,
Okay.
um, on steroids. He can escape anything that you put in front of him. Nothing can hold him.
So he
Uh,
has escape abilities, but does he also have unlimited powers or no?
I don't know if they're unlimited. I don't.
Okay.
I really don't know
So he's
if
not
they're
like a
unlimited.
Superman in that regard.
He's been killed before when he was a member of the Justice League, like in '89 or '90. I want to say they killed him. Like
In
I've got a
89,
comic.
90 our time or 89, 90 comic book time? Just so we're
Well,
clear.
the comic book came out in '89 or '90.
So same time.
So yeah, yeah,
Okay. Same timeline.
yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
So but anyway. they brought the comic book back. It's like that never happened. So he he's a celebrity. He escapes. He does all this stuff. But what's the one thing that nobody can ever escape? I mean, eventually you're going to get bored and life is going to start to lose its meaning, right? When nothing can hold you and you start to feel invincible. So what's the one thing that if you're that good of an escape artist, you're going to try to escape?
You were asking me, or are you leading up to your
I'm
own
asking you.
a death?
Ah,
Yeah.
aha. Yeah,
Ergo, he slits his wrists. I
he
don't know if he's in
slits his
ice water,
wrist.
but he's in the bathroom, I
He's
believe.
on the floor of the
Yeah.
bathroom.
Right.
Yeah, and that panel at the beginning of this comic book, that's like the first page is just like a really big close-up of his face, and you can see like the art that Mitch Garrett did on that. It it looks like he's really in a bad place in his life. And then you turn the page and he's just laying there in his costume without the helmet on, with both arms out, palms up, and just there's a razor blade on the floor and there's just blood everywhere. Um, that shocked me when I read this book and turned the page. It's not often that you see something like that where they deal with heroes, people that you would think are, virtuous, being human. And I think part of this, and this is just speculation on my part, but the person who wrote this book, his name is Tom King. And he's they're making an animated series out of this 12 issue comic book series that he wrote. However, Tom King, he had a job at Marvel, and then in 2001, when the world went to shit, um, he joined the CIA, and he was like a CIA agent and had to go into war zones, and do things that I don't know exactly what he did, but it impacted him. And so the stories that he writes, um, many times they do deal with the trauma, and the depression and the toll that that takes on you when you live through battle after battle after battle. And so this was the first, like, I had not at that time read some earlier work that Tom King had done, notably Sheriff of Babylon, about his time in Iraq. Um, but that to me, I was like, this guy's really telling us something, and it's a lot more than just telling a superhero story. And so it was dealing with the depression of life after you've been in so many battles and the way that it impacts you.
You mentioned that are there just 12 in this series? Is that what you said?
There are 12 issues
Okay.
in this story. Yeah.
Okay.
They were all 12 issues written by Tom King and all the art done by Mitch Garrett. And um, so that's where we start.
And
That's
this is
where we
number one right
This
here.
is issue number one. Yeah,
Okay.
I wanted to show you the beginning
And
of this.
this is, you really like this comic. This is in your tops.
This is to me, w- one of the most impactful series of like the last decade, personally, um, that I've read. I mean, um, it won a lot of awards. At the time, it was very well received. Um, I think obviously, with like gatekeepers and fanboys and stuff, I think that there's been some people be like, oh, I don't really like the things that Tom King writes, but I'm really appreciate everything that he's done. Like I haven't, I can't say I've ever really read a bad story that
Okay.
Tom King has written. And this was the one that really hooked me and solidified that feeling.
Okay. So many questions about this one.
Let's do it.
Orion.
Mhm.
All right. So is he Scott's brother or no?
So,
Or am I spoiling? Is it okay
no,
if I
no.
spoil things?
This
Yeah.
is this is totally fine.
Yeah.
Orion is not his brother. Remember when I told you that Scott was given to Darkseid
Yeah.
to stop a war?
Uh-huh.
So Orion is actually Darkseid's son. He was the other end of that trade. And he is like he was born of Darkseid, but grew up on New Genesis.
Oh, so okay. So it was like an even swap, son for son.
It was like a baseball trade.
Okay. So does Scott, I mean, if Side is
Darkseid.
evil,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he
Does
is.
Scott is Scott evil? Does he raise
No.
him to be so he's good. So Darkseid did a
He
good job.
yeah,
He,
well,
he raised a
Scott
good son.
Scott knew better,
Okay.
and so did Barda. She knew better, and they
Okay.
got out of there. That's why they left.
Oh, okay.
They didn't want
Oh,
any part of it.
so there was no stipulations to the trade that they were there for eternity or anything like that. They could leave at their own volition whenever they wanted.
They escaped.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Um, and then okay, so is Scott dead?
No,
Okay, he's not dead. But there's
no.
definitely things that are leading to make it seem like things aren't right in this comic. Like things are off. Everything's a little
He's
askew.
like the art. It looks like a TV that is out of focus,
Yeah.
and like your vertical hold may be giving way
You might
many
have to tell
times.
that what that means to the young people who didn't have TVs where you had to tune in to a station and then you have to hit the
Yeah.
side of the, you know,
It's
TV.
it's like your television show is buffering,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you've got a bad lag on your stream
Right.
there.
Uh, but there's other things that are questioning or were questions to me because Scott seems to be confused about Barta's eye color, correct?
Yeah, he's out of it. Like
Okay, so
he's really struggling,
okay.
and it's almost like he's seeing the world through a different lens, like a
Yeah,
lens he hadn't really allowed himself to see, like when he was talking to Oberon.
right. But
Oberon's
Oberon,
he's dead. He's not
yeah,
there.
okay,
Yeah, that was just memories.
gotcha. And then as far as the story that Oberon is telling, which I believe is the opening story, is almost like in the beginning story about the kid
Yeah,
drawing in class.
yeah.
Um, it's like two different storylines in a sense, but not really. But it's the same story, but they're overlapping each other. That's not Scott as a kid, right? Or is it Scott
Um,
as a kid, or is
it
it just a kid?
it's just a kid.
Gotcha.
It's never really explained in this book.
Right. The
Yeah,
kid who's drawing God.
it's just a story about a
Okay.
kid drawing. Yeah.
Right.
Kid looks a little bit like Scott though, doesn't he?
He does. That's
Yeah.
what I thought maybe he was. But you're saying maybe you're doing a teaser right now.
Well, I'm saying there are 11 more issues to read.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. So I have to read the other 11. It
If
took
you
me a
want
year to
to
read this one.
if you want to know, I mean, I don't want to spoil it all for
Right. No, no,
everybody.
no. That's fine. That's fine. But there's also now there's I think there's math involved in this one, correct? There's an
Math,
equation. Doesn't
the
Darkseid
anti-life equation.
is that, yeah, he's got
Oh,
he figured out the equation. He's been studying. There's a blackboard somewhere that Darkseid has.
probably mathematical. Like that's the one thing that Darkseid has always wanted. It's like he's been obsessed. So, if you think about life, life is like an equation. There are things that add up and they create life. And he had heard many years ago about an anti-life equation. And he's been searching for pieces of it all over the galaxy and through multiple dimensions since he's been written into stories. That's like his thing. And you never really know if it's real or if it's just something that's like an obsession. But in this book, you are told by Orion that he has found the equation. He's got it. And like, think of it like, High Father is God, and um, and Dark Side is, you know, the devil, or, the Titans in Greek mythology, however you want to look at it, that live in Hades. He, with the anti-life equation, it's not that he kills you. He doesn't want to kill everybody. He wants to think for them. He wants
Oh,
to take away their freedom of thought, freedom of expression, and have like everything be one thought. And it would be his. It sounds vaguely familiar to the
no,
world we
right.
live in today.
Um, did I think this, or does Barta tell Scott that Hightower is dead? Is it Hightower?
High Father.
My father. Hightower was in
Wasn't
police
Barta.
academy.
It wasn't it, Hightower. Yeah, that's a different guy. But he was a very tall guy.
Yes.
Um, the no. So he had that little box that was chirping, and he pushed a button, and think of that as like a teleportation device and a communication device. It's called a
Okay.
mother box. And the way that people travel between the dimension that Acropolis and New Genesis and Earth is these boxes have like a portal in them, and you're gonna love the name that these portals were given a long time ago. You travel through boom tubes.
Boom tubes. Yeah.
Boom tubes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom tubes. Tubes.
Yeah. It's a good band. I like their second album. But so when you see that little circle, and like they push the button and that little circle starts to open up,
You
that's a boom tube that they're traveling, and it's like a dimensional portal. And so um, that box, when they were saying Highfather's dead, he's got the equation. I need you to come home immediately, you and Barda. The final war has started. Um, That was Orion, because Orion is leading the army on New Genesis because he was raised there, and he's part of Highfather's army. Not necessarily the greatest guy. I mean, he's got some of his dad's traits, but he is fighting, you know, for, to stop Darkseid.
okay?
And so he's like, you got to come back. You're a general,
Gotcha.
and you don't have a choice.
Yeah. Maybe was that why he was beating up Scott to give him some training? Is that
That
what that
that
was?
that's the way they were raised, like what Granny Goodness, like when she was trying to teach you a lesson, she would knock you down and say, "Get up," and she would knock you down again. It's like, you're learning, you're learning. Um, Nobody wants to grow up like that.
No, no. That's why the orphanages are. I mean, at least in movies and TV shows are usually bad places. Yeah,
You know,
Annie, I think, was not a
Annie,
yeah,
like
not a happy place.
Oliver Twist.
Yeah, they're always um I don't know, they don't seem like good places. But
Yeah.
what do we got to know about this comic? I know it's it's in your top, but maybe
Yeah.
to someone who hasn't read it yet. You obviously, if you give it a score of what's your score? Is it 1 through 10 or 1 through 50?
I mean, we go 1 through 10. I'd give it like 9.5 out of 10. I mean,
Okay.
I perfects are hard, but this is as close to perfect as you can get
Just
for me.
this single issue or the whole 10 part series, are you saying?
12 part series.
12 part. My apologies to the
It's
other two.
okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. But the the entire series. There are other comics later that are amazing that I would put even above this issue.
Okay.
Like there's one where, Scott and Barta are just having a lovely day together, and they got to leave and escape the war and remember who they are.
They just
And
go on a
and
date,
they
have some
went
dinner.
went and rode Ferris wheels and went to the beach and stuff like that. Yeah, it was a great day, and then the realization hits like, oh, we got to go back, and it's tough, there's some real world stuff that gets thrown in just on the emotional level in this
Okay.
whole thing. Like, I mean, I'll spoiler alert, they have a kid, and he's trying to manage being a general in a war and a new dad all at the same time, and Bart is trying to be a new mother, and it like the challenges that go along with that at the same time. Yeah.
Is their kid a giant kid or no? He's a normal kid.
Nah, he's just a baby.
Oh, okay. He's not,
Yeah.
yeah, uh,
Just like nothing out of the ordinary with that
just a
kid.
normal baby,
Yeah.
not a huge baby. Abnormally large,
Not yet.
grotesque baby.
Not yet. Yeah, he's not a flipper or anything.
Is there anything we have not covered that you might want to cover before we go?
Um, I think that we've touched on the story. I think that we've
Okay.
touched on like I want to ask you a
Mhm.
question. Like in the part where there's a scene in this book where Scott, after his suicide attempt, um, where he was after he'd recovered, he's on a late night talk show.
Right.
There's a host like Godfrey
Godfrey.
that he's talking with, and it's looks kind of like a David Letterman show. And he starts by doing his escape. He does his trick, and then he goes and he sits down and he's talking, and the host is uncomfortably like, "What can you tell us? What are you comfortable telling us?" And he wants to talk about it, but the distortions on his face in the art at that part, that's like the screen lag again.
Right.
Um, you can see like the torture that emotionally he is going through at that time. And so I think that uh, what did you think? How did you take that scene? I'm curious. As
I
somebody who
almost
doesn't know anything about this.
I almost had the sense that Godfrey, the talk show host, was alluding to the fact that maybe Scott didn't escape death. It seemed like that was sort of what he was implying, I thought, to Scott, like sort of asking him, doesn't he say that to him? I thought that there was something of that. Am I wrong?
He was asking questions. It was to me, he was really just being like uncomfortable
Okay.
and having to talk about that. But yeah, Scott totally escaped it. This is not misdirection on anything. Like he
Okay.
lived. He lived. Um, but it more so to me, that is really a scene that just shows how deeply he's struggling, and like he's open and he's willing to talk about it, but like there's it's an open wound, in his heart and in his mind that he's clearly struggling with, and doesn't really know how to talk about it. Like it was uncomfortable for both because he's like, well, yep, I did this. It's like the one thing that nobody escapes. I'm bored trying to escape stuff. So, yeah. that that was pretty powerful to me.
That's
Highly
a
recommend people take a look at that.
yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone's really escaped death
Um,
in that regard.
Pretty sure it's got a perfect record. It's batting a
Yeah,
thousand.
that's one thing death is good at is
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. But on that note, let's
On that
kill the
happy
show.
note,
Let's end this episode.
fair, fair.
Okay.
What's the next book you want to talk about,
You're
man?
gonna tell me.
Oh, okay. Does it need to be a superhero book?
No, you
Oh,
tell
okay.
me. You're the expert guy. You want to
Well,
tease?
do you like ice cream?
Come on. Well, if it's lactose free.
Okay, fair.
Well, I
Well,
liked it when I was a kid.
there's a book called
Okay.
Ice Cream Man,
Oh, all right.
and it is just as happy-go-lucky as this one,
Okay.
meaning that it's not at all.
If we were able to get Van Halen to approve, I know the perfect song. Or is that a David Lee Roth song? I think it's Dave.
Oh,
I'm an ice cream man. Watch me as I pass you by. But
I know the song. I
the
don't know if
cover
that's
anyway,
yeah.
but I think it's Van Halen. I think it's Van Halen. I'm gonna say Van
They
Halen.
they did
All
a lot of
right.
covers. Yeah.
My thanks to the Riverboat Gamblers for letting us use their music for the opening of the show. Bryan, I'll fix that title in post. It's so weird. So, and then we'll see you next episode with what's the name of the comic book again? Ice Cream Man?
Ice Cream Man. I don't know which issue yet. I'll have to find which one would be best.
Okay. Sounds
But
good.
yeah, absolutely.
I don't think this went so bad for episode number one.
I feel good. I feel good
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, well, let's not go crazy. It was still episode. It was the pilot. They're never good.
Work in progress.
Yes. Yeah. We'll bring some writers in for the next one.
That sounds good.
All right, Bryan.
Good to talk to you, Chris.
Good to see you and good to talk to you. We'll see you next week.
Soon. Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, buddy.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
With my wrist